Hi there, this is NCTV. We're here at the Mendenhall Tower to hear the bells, and we're with Hannah Durant from Smith College. Hannah, what is your connection to the bells and everything that's going on here?
So I've worked at Smith for 15 years, and
Okay.
Sarah Moriarty, who used to work here at Smith, pulled me in probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm probably like the official grunt of the tower, so if there's something that needs to get done, I try to get it done. So
And you ring. You're one
I
of
do
the
ring.
ringers.
I
You're
do
one of the
ring.
ringers. You actually earn your keep.
I am a novice ringer as well, so I've been ringing for 5 years, I would say. So still very much in the beginning, but feeling much more confident than I have. So, and it's fun. So
Now, we got a little bit of a background talking to everybody up there, and it was really, really great. They told us about the history and the rest. Now, you have other bells on campus. Are you connected to the
we
Carillon and stuff?
I'm not, but I get to hear it quite frequently from my office, and it definitely has been. They have been playing it much more this year. So
Yeah.
a carillon is kind of like a keyboard that rings bells.
Nice.
And then we have 2 other bells on campus. So one in Helen Hills Chapel,
Oh, yeah.
and one at the top of Wilson House.
Is it
So-
just one bell?
Yeah,
in
they're
each
just
time?
single
Yeah.
bells that you ring, and those get rung on Mountain Day mostly, or calling to a large campus event. So it might be Atelier Cromwell Day, or
Yeah.
convocation, or graduation.
So this is the start of the show. You're going to go up and ring. We're going to listen to you. We're going to
Yeah.
film it. We're going to put it on NCTV. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks.
It's warm enough out, I need to be able to do this without stuff on my hands. It's not much.
We'll see how we do.
Let's see how we do that. So, just as by way of explanation, right now the bells are mouth down, which is a safe way for them to be.
Okay.
But in order to do the ringing that we like to have them mouth up, sort of balanced that way. And so we need to move them from the mouth down to the mouth up position, which is, so we get them swinging a little bit and then more and more and more and more until we can finally get it up.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to try to do them in order of the notes of the scale, which is actually quite hard, so they probably won't sound like a perfect scale. But we'll do what we can.
Oh, thank you.
Ready? Okay, 2, upwards.
Beautiful. Very nice. It's kind of like juggling, keeping 3 things up in the air at once. What are your names? I didn't get a chance to ask you.
I'm Peggy.
I'm Nina.
I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for doing this. How long have the bells been here?
Bells have been here just over 50 years.
Okay.
They were installed when I don't know if you can get this, there was a math professor here named Alice Dickinson at Smith College, and she spent a year in Cambridge, England, and learned about ringing and was very excited about it. When she came back, she learned that they were building this building, or maybe when she was over there, she learned they were building this building, and that this tower that we're standing in was just decorative. It wasn't going to have anything in it. And she thought, that's such a waste. We need to put bells in so that we can do change ringing like they do in England. So she led the fundraising and ordered bells, and they were cast in England and shipped over and installed. There's a photo somewhere I don't know if we have it, of the installation of the bells. It was quite elaborate, and we've had them ever since.
I was looking on your website, and you guys are part of a society or a group, looks like mainly English bell ringers, other churches and schools, colleges that have these bells. And it wasn't a very large group.
No.
It was like 30.
Yeah, in this country there are about 50 towers.
Okay.
In England there are about 5,500.
Oh, my goodness.
And there are a few scattered around the world, I think mostly in what had been British colonies. But yeah, there's only about 50 towers in the U.S. This is quite unusual.
Wow.
In North America.
In North America.
Are
Yeah.
there others in Northampton?
No,
Where would be the nearest one to?
there's 2 in Boston.
Well, this is pretty unique then.
Yes.
Why do you have these blue and yellow pads or things on there? What do those do? Are those just for your hands, just to make it easier to pull?
Yeah, so they're called Sallies,
Sally's? Okay.
and when we ring the bells, we have to, we hold them, so this is the part of the rope that we need to pull on. So we pull on that, and then we pull on the tail. So it's just to make the rope easier to hold and more comfortable to hold.
They're pretty. They're actually very pretty. Do you ever have to go up into the belfry or whatever you call it?
Sure.
To,
Sam was just up there today. Is that when you?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
and what do? You just adjust the...
Well, I was installing a new system so that we could have sensors on the bells so that we can silence the bells and have a computer in here make the sounds when the bells would make their sounds. So we're just starting to get that set up now.
And why do you do that?
So that we can practice without annoying our neighbors, and so we can have the computer ring some of the bells perfectly to help us learn.
And how does the computer do that? How does it ring it?
Well, it has software that will just ring the bells, and then
It touches, it has something that touches the bells? I mean, like a
No,
clapper
so
or something?
there's up there when I installed are little sensors that sense when a magnet that I mounted on the wheel of the bell passes by it, and so that will know. So then the computer can know when the bells would ring.
I gotcha.
Based on that.
Cool. All right.
But otherwise, we go up there, we need to check on them, or if something feels like it's not right. There's a lot of moving parts that, could loosen up or something so we have to go up to check. We bring tours of people up there because it's fun impressive to see
I
what's
bet.
up there, yeah.
Are there bats up there, Evan?
No
I
bats
haven't
that I've
noticed
seen.
Now, I saw something about, that there's some incredible math equation that goes along with ringing the bells. What's up with that? And you get the mad maths bells this way.
We
And
do. We have, we need like a whiteboard or something, but, So, well, I can start anyway. One of the things about these bells is they're very heavy, and they're attached to very large wheels. When we pull on the rope, the bell goes from a mouth up position all the way around to the other mouth up position. So we have a little bit of control about when it rings, but we don't have enough control that we could play melodies. That would require being able to do all kinds of syncopated rhythms or several notes in a row of the same bell while somebody else is just waiting, and we just can't do that. These bells don't allow for that. So instead, what happened, this was developed hundreds of years ago, people decided to try to ring patterns. And the patterns end up being quite mathematical. There are a couple of rules. One rule is that when we rang in order, we rang those 3 bells up in order, you can only move your place by one spot. So if you're ringing in the second position, you could ring in the first position or the third position. That makes sense. But if you're ringing in the third position, you can't jump to the first position on the next line. You could only jump to the second position.
so you guys really have to be coordinated between the 3 of you to do this.
Yes, it's a team sport, definitely.
It seems cool. Okay.
And
6 must really be fun.
Right, so with more bells, it gets actually really very interesting. But the other rule is that we don't want to repeat any order that we have rung. So we ring and order the bells, and then people change positions, or their bells change positions, and we don't want to do any repeats. So with those 2 rules, that you can't move more than one position, and you can't do any repeats, that leads to a whole series of mathematical patterns that meet those conditions, meet the criteria. And then it gets very fun if you like patterns to try to understand the patterns, create new patterns, make little changes so that when the pattern kind of runs its course, you could still keep ringing by making one little change and then continuing the pattern. So
Do you get math students coming up here to
we do have math students
experience?
coming up. Yep, there's a fair overlap between bell ringers and mathematicians, computer scientists,
Linguists.
linguists. Yeah, in this case, linguists.
It is a language.
Yeah.
Now you have 8 bells, it looks like. Is
We
that
do,
so?
we do.
And do you ever have 8 people here
Yes,
ringing?
we do,
Okay,
we do. Not tonight.
yeah. Do you have occasions when you ring the bells? I know you do it Mondays and Wednesdays, but it's there like, oh, let's do it on Christmas or let's do it on Easter or whatever. Do you have occasions to ring the bells?
We do. Since this tower is affiliated with Smith and not affiliated with a church, we don't tend to do it for holidays.
Okay.
But we do ring for Smith events, so there are various...
Isn't Mountain Day announced by the bells or something
Mountain
like
Day
that?
is announced by bells, yeah. We've rung for Convocation, we've rung for Hillier Cromwell Day, we've rung for the reunions. So, yeah, we do ring for certain occasions.
Great. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Sure. All right, should we ring a little bit?
Let's start with plain hunt.
That's called a plain hunt.
Beautiful. It really is.
That's our simplest pattern. Many other patterns are kind of built off of that one. Okay, should we try something better? Sure. You gonna call it? Wait, no, we don't have to call.
I'm not gonna do it.
not
No, no touching. Okay, all right, just call. All right, did it.
Really good, guys. You really. Now, what notes are you hitting? What are the bells? Are the 2 1 notes, and then your 1 note, and then your 1 note? I mean, 1 key.
Yeah, this is, the starting note is C, and then we're descending down the scale, so it's,
Do you have 2 C's?
no, I have C, B,
Oh,
A, G,
F-E.
okay. So the whole shebang. Great.
yeah. That was called plain bob minor.
Plain Bob.
Plain bob minor. Every method has a name, and minor means that it's on 6 bells. So you could have plain bob major, which is on 8 bells, or plain bob doubles, which is on 5 bells.
Great.
So
Thank you.
they're all the same, essentially the same method, but some adjustments according to how many bells you have.
How many different tunes do you guys know? I mean, it's kind of a dumb question, but
How many are there altogether?
There are
There's-
hundreds.
There's
There's
thousands.
thousands.
There's thousands.
so
of
you could
methods.
have a sheet of music and follow it.
One could, but one never
One
does.
could.
One never does.
One of the rules about like serious peal ringing is that you can't have any visual aids.
Now I'm getting into it here. Yeah.
I mean, if you just casually like this, sometimes you do it as you're
Right.
learning. But
But
So when you study it, when you're learning, you have a visual aid. When you like say, hey, let's learn a new song.
You learn it and you try to find a way to hold it in your head, think about how to think about it, and then you do it without any.
Understood.
You don't ring it. You really never ring it with a piece of paper in front of you.
Understood. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And the one difference between handbells and tower bells is in the tower you can only ever ring one bell at a time, but with handbells you can ring two. So when we're short on people, like we are today, we switch to handbells.
Now, I would imagine handbell ringing is more popular, or at least more extensive than tower bell ringing. Are there more groups and things doing it?
I think there are a few more, like there's a handbell group in Middletown.
Is there a national convention of handbell ringers or anything like that?
Well, and then there's also another whole group of handbell ringers which don't do this, but they actually ring music in a more traditional form, like what other people might think of as music, melodies and harmonies and things like that. And that's a whole different skill.
Yeah, bells are a whole world unto their own. My wife and I both do Reiki, and often they will bring bell ringers to the Reiki sessions. And there have been several.
Bowls.
Well, bowls.
They play the glass bowls.
That's one, but they've had bells as well. They've had bells. That always encourages meditation, that nice resonance.